Right, next up we have a whiskey from Aurora Spirits, part of the Bivrost brand. Is this a whiskey that you've come across before? I imagine probably not.
No, I have zero expectations
Well, that's
for
quite
this one. Yeah,
fun,
it's a total sort of clean slate for me. I've not tried anything from this brand. I've not tried too much Scandinavian whiskey.
Okay, yep.
I've tried a few.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a as I said, clean slate.
Excited to try it. Cool. Yeah, I think Scandinavians, making generalizations about a whole country, Scandinavians generally love smoky whiskey, would you say, from, working in shops and this sort of thing. Swedes, Danish visitors to Scotland, they tend to love your Lagavulins and your Lafroigs. So, yeah, other Scandinavian whiskies you've tried? Macmira you've had?
Tried a few Macmira.
Sure.
I've tried a few from Stonning in Denmark.
Yeah,
Stonning,
cool.
I'm probably mispronouncing that.
No, that's right.
But yeah, I've tried a few of theirs. So yeah, these ones from Aurora Spirits, totally new for me.
Yeah, and the quality has been pretty good for Scandinavian whiskey you've had so far, would you say?
From what I've had, yeah.
Okay.
I think particularly Macmira, really enjoyed, and that they're picking up awards. They're very well reputed. They've been going for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's really my only frame of reference for coming in with this.
Well, the Bivrost brand, as we say, it's made in the Arctic Circle in Norway. They're quite an experimental operation and very transparent as well. If you go on their website, it's not... They make it very clear that making whiskey is quite difficult. I think the Arctic barley they use they've discovered is incredibly difficult to work with. It's quite low yields. It's not been smooth sailing for them. But the handful of whiskies I've tried from them before have been good. They've been full of character, quite challenging in some respects, but pretty well balanced, particularly for sort of a younger distillery as well. So this one we have in front of us is the Helheim. Again, it's a limited edition, and it says it's crocodile, charred, and ex-Islay casks. So charring of casks is a process you're familiar with?
Yeah. Just setting the staves on fire
burning
until
the hell out of it.
Basically, until they. Am I right in thinking it's until they start to kind of split a bit? Is that where the crocodile effect comes in?
I think crocodile charring is when you char it a lot.
Yeah. So
it's named that way so the sort of inside of the cask gets so rough and bumpy it starts to resemble like an alligator's skin.
Yeah.
Some people might be familiar with Ardbeg alligator. That was a very similar process. It went through Ardbeg scorch as well, which is all about dragons and fire breathing. Basically the same thing as Ardbeg alligator. So this, we're expecting lots of interaction between the spirit and the wood. So it should taste a bit older, perhaps taste a bit oaky. The ex-Islay casks as well. It might pick up a little bit of that smoke from the cask's previous contents. Have you had many whiskies before that have been in an ex-Islay?
I've had a few. I quite like it as a method of maturation. I think Anok have done it. I think they've done peated whiskey and ex-Islay casks. I might touch wood, I'm not wrong on that. But and I'm sure because it imparts just some of that flavour. Right? So just cuts through some of the normal sweetness from that particular whiskey.
It's definitely not as much smoke as a proper peated whiskey.
Yeah.
I think from my experience, it's not as evident as I expect it to be. But I think if you know it's there, you can sort of go looking for it and identify certain notes. But this one we'll give a try and see what comes through. I'm quite excited to try this actually. Let's see what it's all about.
So they're using the ex-Islay casks. Do you know if the barley that they've used for this was peated at all, or?
We don't know if it's peated or not. I imagine we'll be able to tell from tasting it.
Yeah.
I hope.
It would almost be a bit redundant in a way. I'd imagine peating your whiskey and then using an ex-Islay cask.
Kind of too much of a good thing. I don't think the Islay casks would be that prominent either if it is a proper peated whiskey. So I'm imagining this will be unpeated. They do make both peated and unpeated spirit out of distillery. Let's see how we get on. On the nose, I hope we'd be able to pick up some smoke if it is obvious. What do you think?
Kind of meaty.
Meat.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite.
It's like,
It's definitely not a clean nose, is it?
Yeah.
It's not freshly chopped green apples. It's quite dirty. It's quite manure-y, very farmyard. Quite sort of coastal as well.
yeah, I think definitely. I think there's like a slight acidity I'm getting on the nose. It's not the alcohol like prickle that you sometimes get from a whiskey. It is more of like a vinegary kind of acidity, which
is that a nice
yeah, it's
thing?
something appealing for me. I understand it might not be for everyone, but when you said sort of coastal element, it makes me think of sort of seaside fish and chips, that kind of.
Yeah. Does it remind you of any single malt Scotch distilleries? Is it kind of Talisker-esque perhaps, or is it more Campbelltown?
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as saying like Talisker. I was thinking Talisker would probably be smokier than what I'm getting from this, and quite sort of peppery, quite spicy, even on the nose. Maybe like the peated Brook Laddie, like Port Charlotte.
Okay.
It's making me think of that a little bit.
Yeah, Brook Laddie for me has got quite a distinctive, almost some people say like a cheesy feet aroma, and I think there is. I've tried a few of these now, and there is. I feel like that comes through quite a lot in some of them. Yeah, I say maybe a little bit of that smoke, which is maybe coming from those ex-Islay casks, but we'll give this a try. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, very pleasant for me. I think the full range that we've had so far have all been 46%, and I feel that's spot on for this kind of spirit. Do you feel like it's overly watered down, or do you think it's got enough complexity?
No, I think there's definitely enough character and complexity to it. I don't, it would be interesting to try it at higher strength, but you're right. I don't think it would need to be needs to be that. There's plenty going on at the lower ABV. I thought there's almost something kind of minty about that for me, particularly on the finish. There's like a herbal quality to it.
Yeah, okay.
It's which you'd normally associate with something being quite refreshing, and I don't think this whiskey ticks that box. But yeah, there is that for me.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. As I say, I've had a couple of these, and they've all been good. I've not had a bad one yet, but it's quite. It's not a simple dram. I can imagine if I had a full bottle of this, it would take me a while to get through it. I think it's great for a winter's evening, or if you're in the mood for quite a tough whiskey. It really scratches that itch. Is it one you're enjoying? I know you'd like a Bowmore and quite heavily peated whiskies. Is this one you might consider adding to your collection at some point, or are you can give it a wide berth?
I probably may have to give it another sample, more than this glass, to convince me. I'm not immediately sold on it, but as I said, it is a profile that I do quite enjoy. It's maybe not setting my world on fire immediately. I think it's a whiskey that if I was to try and pitch it to someone, I would say it's a good way, a sort of segue into the peatier style of whiskey. If you like your lighter style, or if you like your big sherry bombs, this would maybe take you in the direction of a peaty whiskey without being too smoky itself, because there is just something very idiosyncratic, very singular about it. That I think a lot of people think of your Ardbegs and your Lafroigs and Taliskers and so on.
Yeah, it's a good dram. I think, for me, it's one, if I saw it on a bar gantry, which is probably unlikely because it's a small distillery, small outturn, I'd maybe go for it just for something a bit different. I think I'd struggle with a full-size bottle, but yeah, I think for friends who work in whiskey that have never tried Bivrost before, I would say it's definitely worth giving a try, because they make good spirit, but for me, you just need to be in a certain frame of mind to fully enjoy it.
Yeah, it's certainly not a everyday, every occasion whiskey,
no,
is it?
Definitely not, but a great one to try, and yeah, glad it was okay. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.